Today we are going to continue with our AWP first unit concepts. So until today we have discussed about some of the basic concepts of antennas and also wave propagations, and we discussed about some of the fundamental concepts. So we have completed the introduction part and we have completed some of the fundamental concepts of the antennas. Now today's class we go with some objectives, right? So we normally deal with the other important fundamental concepts of a AWP subject. So what are they now? So today we try to cover with these concepts like what is wave, what is the meaning of uniform plane wave, and what is velocity of wave propagation, and next one is physical concept of radiation. So what is the meaning of radiation? The EM waves are going to get detached from the transmitting antenna and they are going to get radiated into the free space. Now here in this last point we have to see how EM wave is going to get detached from the antenna. That means before the EM wave is getting detached from the antenna, what is the form of the wave? The form of the wave is electrical in nature. After detachment, the form of the wave is going to be spatial in nature. That means the antenna is going to convert a signal from time domain to the time domain to the spatial domain representation. So the antenna is converting the electrical signal into a spatial domain signal, or it is converting a time domain signal into a spatial domain signal. So in this particular point we normally see about that physical concept of that particular radiation, how an antenna is radiating the EM wave. Now before that, first of all let us start with a wave. What is the meaning of a wave? Now here one thing we have to understand is that what is the difference between wave and a signal for us? Signal is basically electrical parameter representation, whereas wave is a spatial domain representation. That means whatever signal we have that we have processed before antenna, that same signal when it is radiated by a transmitting antenna, it is called as a wave. So therefore almost all similar kind of a definition we can frame for the wave. So how I can define a wave as? A wave is nothing but, wave can be defined as a physical phenomenon. A wave is defined as a physical phenomena. A physical phenomena at a particular at one place in a given time is reproduced at another place in a later time, is known as a wave. That means a wave is something like is known as a physical phenomena which is going to exist at one place in a given time, and the same wave and the same phenomenon is reproduced at another place in a later time, is known as basically a wave. So that means what is a signal? Signal is something like any physical parameter is known as a signal which is varying with respect to time. So similar kind of thing is going to be called as a wave for us. So the wave definition is going to be very simple. How do we define a wave now? A wave is defined as a physical phenomenon that occurs at a place in a given time and is reproduced at another time or at another place in a later time, is known as a wave. So we can define wave like that. The next one is going to be a uniform plane wave. So what is the meaning of uniform plane wave? Already we have discussed about this concept in the analog communications. How? In analog communications we have a signal known as a carrier. What is the importance of a carrier? Carrier is going to carry the low frequency signal. Carrier is going to carry low frequency signal over the electromagnetic spectrum or over the free space or over the medium to a long distance. So carrier is going to carry the low frequency signal to a longer distance. It is known as a carrier. Now before modulation, what is carrier? The carrier is known as a dummy signal, which is an unmodulated signal. Now what is the characteristics of the carrier before modulation? It is going to be uniform. What does it mean now? Over a time period, over a finite time period, right, the parameters or characteristics of the what is that, carrier wave is going to be uniform, which is not going to change. The frequency, amplitude and the phase is not going to change. Say for example, if you draw a carrier signal like this, so imagine that it is a carrier signal for us, okay, with respect to time. So this is amplitude. Now this peak to peak amplitude is going to be constant over a time period minus infinity to plus infinity, and the phase is also going to be 0 degrees here also 0 degrees. Next cycle we are going to start somewhere here, it is also 0 degrees. That means the phase is going to be same, amplitude is going to be same, and frequency is also going to be same. So in that sense we call this particular signal is going to be uniform. It is simply going to be uniform signal, or I can simply call something like a constant signal. The parameters are constant. What is constant actually? The parameters of this particular wave is totally constant, of the signal is going to be constant. Now this is the signal representation. Now we are into the wave representation. That's it. That means the same meaning when you apply it to the wave, it's simply going to be the definition for the uniform plane wave. Now you can define the uniform plane wave. So what is uniform plane wave can be defined as? A uniform plane wave is a wave. Once again I can simply call this as a wave because this is after we radiate the signal. So uniform plane wave is a wave which is represented by sinusoidal variations with same amplitude and all the other parameters like frequency and phase, with the same amplitude, frequency and phase over a finite intervals of time is simply known as a uniform plane wave. That means only one term we are going to add. With plane wave is defined as a wave which is represented as a sinusoidally varying physical quantity with respect to amplitude with the constant values of amplitude, frequency and change, constant variations of amplitude, frequency and phase. Okay, and phase over a finite intervals of time period is known as a uniform plane wave. So that means whenever you get into a term called uniform plane wave, please keep in mind about the carrier signal in analog communications. So once the carrier signal comes into our mind, we can easily define the uniform plane wave as far as the electromagnetic wave radiation is concerned. So with this we complete the simple definition of a wave and a simple definition of a uniform plane wave. So in the uniform plane wave, the parameters of a wave such as amplitude, phase and a frequency. What is frequency? F is equal to 1 by t. This period if it is equal to t, the frequency is going to be fixed, amplitude peak to peak is going to be fixed, phase is also going to be fixed. They are going to be the constant parameters. Now these parameters are going to be fixed over all the finite intervals of time period. If this is so in a wave, then we call such a wave going to be called as a uniform plane waves. So this is the definition for uniform plane wave. Why? Because continuously we are going to use terms called wave, uniform plane wave. So one should not get any question or a doubt on understanding about what is a wave. So when the wave is processed in the system, it is called as a signal. When the same signal is radiated by using an antenna, it is called as a wave for us. Okay, a dummy carrier signal if you transmit really, so that is simply known as a uniform plane wave for us. Now next concept is going to be velocity of the wave propagation. Now already we discussed about the wave equation. What is wave equation? We discussed about a wave equation earlier. What is wave equation we discussed? Let us recollect. Del square E is equal to mu epsilon dou square E by dou t square. This is the definition or equation that we have given. In free space, what I can write this as? In free space, I will write del square E is equal to mu naught epsilon naught dou square E by dou t square. So this is the wave equation in the free space. Now when I say wave equation, I have to give the electric field equation as well as the magnetic field equation. Why? The electromagnetic wave is always going to propagate perpendicular to the electric and magnetic fields. Therefore, I have to give the magnetic field wave equation also. So therefore, del cross H is equal to mu naught epsilon naught dou square H by dou T square. This is another equation, wave equation. So this is electric field representation of a wave equation, and it is a magnetic field representation of a wave equation. So both has to be there in order to generate a EM wave by a transmitting antenna. So if only one of them is there, can a transmitting antenna radiates? Usually yes. See, basically we either transmit a time varying current flowing through an antenna, or we try to allow a magnetic field into the antenna, then other field is automatically going to get radiated by virtue of the nature. So therefore we can represent either of these two to represent a wave equation. So therefore I can just represent either electric field or a magnetic field. Why? By using Maxwell's equations, once we get one field, we can generate another field. So that means other field is generated by virtue of nature, something like, you know, as I was talking to you, theory of cost. If you generate electric field, magnetic field is induced. So due to electric and magnetic fields, EM wave is going to get generated by the transmitting antenna. So with this, we normally going to represent the wave equations. Now in these wave equations, Maxwell has stated one more made one more statement. What is that? The electromagnetic waves are going to propagate with the velocity of light. Now how can you say that the velocity of light? So from engineering, from physics, we have a definition, or we have an equation for the, we have an equation of a wave, we have an equation of a wave in physics, that we can write as del square F is equal to 1 by V square dou square F by dou T square. So this is the equation of wave from physics. So this is known as wave equation from physics. Now where F is nothing but frequency of the wave that we normally going to transmit. Now let us look into this equation. Let us say this equation is 1, say this equation is some 2. Right? Now if you equate equation 1 and 2, what we can have now? If you equate equation 1 and 2, what I can write here as, I can write mu naught. Now these two are same now. Del square E I have, del square F I have. Here also del square F by dou square F by dou T square. Here also I am going to have dou square E by dou T square. That means both these two have got some similarities. So now I can equate now mu naught omega naught is equal to 1 by V square. So this V is equal to, now what I can write, 1 by under root of mu naught epsilon naught. So what is mu naught? Mu naught values will be equal to 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 farads per meter. And what about epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is equal to 8.85 into 10 power minus 12 Henry per meter. Now once you substitute here, we can have now V is equal to 1 by under root of 4 pi into 10 power minus 7, okay, into 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12. When you solve this equation, you will be getting around 2.999 into 10 raised to 8 meters per second. So therefore this V is approximated to 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. Now this is known as the velocity of light. So based on these two relationships, Maxwell has stated that the EM waves are going to propagate with the velocity of light. So Maxwell has finally concluded that all the EM waves are going to propagate with the velocity of light in the free space, right? So with this we complete this velocity of light, velocity of wave propagation. Then next one is going to be what now? Physical concepts. Now coming to physical concepts, what do you mean by physical concepts? Well, here we are going to represent physically how electromagnetic wave is simply going to get radiated by a transmitting antenna. Now here in order to go with that, we normally go with the first thing, that is called relation of the EM wave radiation. Now how do we provide relationship of EM wave radiation? Now how is EM wave generated? First of all, the output of transmitter is connected to the transmitting antenna by using a transmission line. So in between you are going to have a transmission line. So transmission line can be treated as a wire kind of a arrangement, right? So that means when I say it is treated as like a wire, every wire is going to have some cross section. So I can draw this wire cross section something like this. So imagine that there is a cross section of wire, circular cross section, say coaxial cable or anything else. So it's going to have some circular cross section. Now this is the, say imagine it is the axis of the wire, and imagine it is a z axis. It is a z axis, and you are going to have some vertical axis y, and perpendicular to this you are normally going to have another axis called say x, right? Now we are assuming that the wave is propagating along the z direction, right? Always in our examples we consider the wave is propagating along the z direction. So similarly here also the wave is propagating along the z direction. Now as it is a volume element, it is going to have some area. So this is known as area of the volume, right? Now the charge is normally going to get the charge, which is the charge is normally going to get accumulated in this particular wire, right? Now because of the charge accumulation, the electromagnetic radiation has to take place. Now imagine that the length of this particular wire is equal to some L. Some L is the length of the wire that we can consider, and A is the cross section of the wire that we can normally going to consider. Okay. Now electric field is induced in this particular wire. So under those conditions, what we can have now? We can have two relationships for the current. Now how can I say that a current is existed in a wire? It is based on the current density equation. So what is current density equation in electricity? We have two notations, electricity notation. So where I can write the current density J is equal to I by A. This is the notation with the electric field, electricity. So where J is nothing but current density, I is the current which is flowing, and the current is flowing across the area A. So that is what called simple representation with electricity. Now next one is with respect to wave propagation. There is a small deviation here with respect to wave propagation. How can I say that current is existed? If there is a current density, I can just say that there is a current flowing inside the wire. Now this here I can write with respect to the charge. Now according to Maxwell's equations, Maxwell says that the source of the EM wave is because of the induced electric field or induced magnetic field or charge enclosed. So that is charge enclosed, Q is equal to integral of d dot ds. It is called Gauss law. So based on Gauss law, the Maxwell has concluded that the wave is normally going to get propagated because of some source at the transmitter side. That source is normally going to provide what? Either electric field or magnetic field, or it has to enclose some charge in that. So if the charge is enclosed, then also the EM wave is normally going to get radiated. So therefore here we can write J is equal to, I can just provide one equation now. J is equal to now I am transmitting the signal, or I am propagating the signal along the z direction. So therefore I can just say here Vz, and what is that which is coming out from the material? Usually the charge, okay, usually the volume charge density surface charge density, line charge density, we represent with the density with that. So therefore I can have here volume charge density. So rho v into Vz we can write. Now here, as when I say a wave propagation, what is the difference in terms of the representation? Wave is represented in the spatial domain, right? Signal is represented in a time domain. Now how will they both are going to be same? It is something like, just now we represented the velocity of the EM wave is equal to 1 by under root of mu naught epsilon naught. Just now we represented, and the equation what we have written is wave equation as, say, del square E is equal to mu naught epsilon naught dou square E by dou t square. This is the equation that we have represented already. Now if you observe this carefully, this is spatial domain. Which domain it is? Spatial domain. How can I say this part is spatial domain? Because of the operator del. Because this del operator is normally going to represent the various differentiation values with respect to the concerned coordinate systems. If the coordinate system is Cartesian, we represent in Cartesian system. If the coordinate system is cylindrical, we represent del in cylindrical. If it is spherical, we represent in spherical coordinate system. So because of this operator del, which is spatial domain, we say that this part is in the spatial domain. What about this part now? If you observe this carefully, it is varying, E is varying with respect to time, means it is in time domain. Now we are simply, this is in time domain, this part is in time domain. Now this equation is governed by a symbol equal to. What is the meaning of equal to? LHS is equal to RHS. Now will the units match? By just looking into here, the units are really not matching. But due to the Maxwell's equations, wave equations, units are internally going to get matched. Why? Because of the advantage of Maxwell's equations. Because Maxwell's equations are going to directly give us the physically realizable systems or physical realizable equations. So here what I can say is, this is known as inverse of the velocity. Inverse of the velocity means what? What I can have now? This is V actually. I can represent this as going to be as 1 by V square dou square E by dou t square is equal to del square E I can write. Yes or no? I can write this statement. Now this is with respect to time. So therefore this is something like, I can call it as a meter. That is why whenever we speak about electromagnetic signals, we speak in terms of wavelength. Wavelength is represented using meters, right? So therefore I can just say that as it is spatial domain, I will be representing this in terms of wavelength. So wavelength unit is basically meters or centimeters. So that is a length representation. Now here also from this we should get a length kind of representation. Now is it not similar to the distance travelled by a vehicle equation? So where I can say x is equal to some v into t. What is x is equal to v into t? Means what? Velocity into time period is nothing but distance travelled by the wave. So this is nothing but basically in meters, and this is actually time. This is meters per second. Okay, so this time, this is also time now, seconds means these two will get cancelled, we left over with meter, meter becomes equal to meter. Now these two are exactly same now. These two are exactly same now. So here, due to inverse property of this, we can have second square per meter square into, you're going to have something like, you're going to have second square here 1 by second square. That means time square, these two will get cancelled. We left over with only meters dimension. So that means as per units, they simply got matched. So because of that matching of both units from LHS RHS, we say that LHS is equal to RHS. So because LHS is equal to RHS, we say that this equation holds good. this equation holds good for the representation of a wave, and we can say that wave is propagating with the velocity of light. So with this analogy, this is the analogy which we normally have. The same analogy we normally going to apply it over here for the wave propagation in terms of the charge density and the velocity of the wave which is getting transmitted. So what is charge density? Now here I am considering this as a volume. So volume charge density. What is volume charge density? It is nothing but coulombs by meter cube. Coulombs per meter cube. What is nothing but velocity? Velocity is nothing but something like meters per second for us. Okay, velocity is nothing like meters per second for us. So these two will get cancelled. I simply going to get coulombs per meter square into second is the unit for J. Is the unit for J. Now what is the unit for J here? Electricity. Let us try looking into this. J is equal to, what is I? I can write I as dq by dt. Rate of change of charge is known as the current. So if the charge is moving, if the charge is accelerating, it results into a current. If the charge is stationary, I say that there is no current. But if the charge is accelerating, if the charge is moving, then I can say current is there. So by area A. Now area A, what is area A for a wire? Now I can just simply call this as meter square. Now what is charge unit? It is called coulombs. So I can call this as coulombs by dt, means what? Second. So meter second. This is going to be meter square second. So now units got matched. Because units got matched, I can say that the existence of a EM wave, is going to be there when there exists a current charge density. When there exists a current charge density represented by the charge density, volume charge density, and the velocity of the wave which is propagating. Now this is going to form the governing equation for us to represent the relationship or give the relationship for the EM wave radiation. So I have to give a relation for EM wave radiation, which is known as the basic governing equation, to say that based on this equation I can say that the EM wave is radiating. So we have to finally say or conclude, make a statement based on this equation. I can say that the EM wave is radiating. So that equation we are going to derive, right? So very simple thing that to derive now. Okay. Now let us look into this. So the equation what I have is J is equal to, it is going to be the rho v, it is not exactly q, it is going to be rho charge density into the velocity along the z direction. Now here J is nothing but equal to I by A, which I can simply write it over here. I by A is equal to, I can just have it rho into Vz. Alright. Now if I consider the area of this particular cross section is going to be unity, if A is going to be unity, that means if I consider if the wire is very thin, if the wire is very thin, such that A is equal to unity. So if I take A is equal to unity, I can write simply from this A is equal to rho into Vz. So this is the equation I am normally going to get. Now under this condition, for a static current this is fine, but in order to radiate, what is the signal we are going to have? The signal that we are going to apply is going to be a time varying current. So therefore for time varying fields, what we can write is, for time varying fields we can write, for time varying fields I can write di by dt. I differentiate with respect to time to consider the time varying fields, and this is a charge density, so therefore it is a constant value. So I can write dvz by dt. So this is the equation I can have over here. Now if I consider this of length L, this wire is of length L, then I can write for a wire of length L, for a wire of length L, what I can write this as now? L into di by dt is equal to something like rho L kind of a thing into, now this I can write as acceleration. What is acceleration? Rate of change of velocity is known as acceleration from engineering physics. So I can write this as a equation. So this equation is known as, let us say, equation 1. This equation 1 is known as the basic governing equation for the EM wave radiation. So that is the relation of the EM wave radiation. Now what is that we can understand from this equation? We have to make out some points from this particular equation. So what are the conclusions that we can have from our equation to induce an EM wave? In order to induce an EM wave, what has to be done? A changing current has to exist, that is one thing. Then the charge has to be either accelerated or deaccelerated. So the charge could be either accelerated or it's going to be deaccelerated. Then and then only the EM wave is normally going to get radiated. That means if we have a static fields in a wire, a EM wave is not going to get generated. To generate EM wave, compulsorily I should have a change in the current. I should have a change in the current over a length of L. Some L has to be there, and I should have a acceleration of the charge carriers. Now how can I say that AZ is known as acceleration of charge carriers? We normally say that by using the another theory, that is from Maxwell's theory. So we have a second thing that is called Maxwell's theory. Maxwell's theory. Let us look into this Maxwell's theory now. What the Maxwell's theory is going to explain to us? Del cross H is equal to J plus dou D by dou T. J plus dou D by dou T. This is what, as per the Maxwell's equations, that we can write it over here. Okay. Now I can call this as some JC. Okay, or I can call this as JC plus JD. Right? So anyone, let's not bother about all those things now. So del cross H is equal to JC plus dou D by dou T, that I can have. Now this JC is equal to, I can write as sigma E. Now this E is nothing but electric field, which is the source of the EM wave. Anyway, EM wave has to be generated because of electric and magnetic field. That is a thing which is going to be there. But either electric field or magnetic field has to be there initially. So initially, if electric field is there, magnetic field is going to get induced. After magnetic field is going to get induced, which is perpendicular to the electric field, then EM wave is going to get generated by the transmitting antenna. That is the concept we have. Now here this JC is nothing but source of the electric field, or E is nothing but source of the electric field from this particular equation. So we have one more equation that is called, this is one of the Maxwell's equations. We have another Maxwell's equations, del dot D is equal to rho V. Del dot D is equal to rho V. Now how come this is related to the charge Q? Okay, now here we normally integrate, we perform volume integration. Volume means what? We perform with V. Volume means 3 integrals basically. Instead of writing 3 integrals, we are writing with only 1 integral. So volume V del dot D dV is equal to, it is volume integral rho V dV. Either side I perform volume integration, right? Now here we normally going to apply what? The divergence theorem. What the divergence theorem is going to speak about? Divergence theorem is going to convert us the volume to surface integral. To have a conversion from volume to surface integral, we normally going to use a divergence theorem. To have a line to surface conversions, we are going to use a Stokes theorem, right? So now let us go with the divergence theorem. So by using divergence theorem, this is varying fields here I can write. So by using the divergence theorem, what I can have now, the closed integral of, I can write surface integral of d dot ds is equal to, now this is one more equation according to Gauss law, I can say that it is equal to q. This is from Gauss law. Okay, so using Gauss law, I will be getting, using Gauss law and the divergence theorem, I will be getting this equation. That means the source for generation of EM waves lies in either supplying the electric field or supplying the charge q. That means there should be compulsorily a source of electric field, time varying electric field, or there should be a source of changing charge density, okay, charge accumulated or charge enclosed in the field. So based on these two, we can say that the EM wave is normally going to get generated. So that means this acceleration is related to the charge q, whereas this di by dt is related to the electric field. So now these two equations, let us say this is equation number 2, this is equation number 3. Now what I can have now here, this equation L dot dI is equal to, this equation related to what now? These two equations, something like, you know, del cross H is equal to Q, I am writing over here. So either this one has to be there, either di by dt has to be there, or the rate of change of the charge enclosed has to be there in the field in order to get the EM wave radiations. So with these two concepts we can conclude, what is that we can conclude? We can conclude that EM wave is going to exist in the free space. Now we will make the conclusions of the previous equation number 1. What are the conclusions we can have now from the equation 1? If the charge q is static, that means if there is no acceleration of charge q, then it does not produce any current. So if does not produce any current, that means I is equal to what? Basically, what is the formula for I? I is equal to dq by dt. If q is static, not changing, then I, what is the differentiation of constant? 0. So I becomes equal to 0. When I is 0, what is di by dt? That is also equal to 0. Yes or no? So di by dt, what is the equation I have? Di by dt is equal to, or I can just say it is, okay, approximately equal to something like dv by dt. Okay, of course charge density we are going to have across length L. So if q is static, there is no current. When there is no current, there is no question of any time varying nature of the current. So it does not produce any current, and hence there is no radiation. So the setup or a wire is not going to radiate the EM waves, and hence not radiates, and hence the EM wave is not going to get radiated. Now if the input signal is varying with time, then what happens? If the transmission line, whatever that you are transmitting, is totally straight, signal is varying but transmission line is totally straight, in that case also there won't be any radiation. So no radiation in case of straight transmission line. If in case transmission line is really straight, definitely there is not going to be any radiation. The next second case is going to be, there is going to be radiation if you have a bent, if you bend the wire. That means radiation, I can just say radiation exists if the transmission line is going to have some physical changes. Now what are the changes that we can have in a transmission line? You can just have a transmission line like this. If you have a like this transmission line, here wherever you are going to have a change, there the radiation is normally going to be there over a transmission line, right? So that means here it is something like the wave is traveling continuously. Now we have discussed this, that means open loop transmission line we discussed. Remember in the EMTL subject we discussed about open loop transmission line. If transmission line is totally open loop, then it won't radiate any signal. Now that also we discussed in this class when we discuss about a dipole antenna. It won't radiate. So with that reason also we are not going to get a radiation. That is why we normally going to provide some tilt in the transmission lines, or we normally going to have some bend in the transmission lines. So we normally going to have a bend in the transmission lines like this. So we can bend the transmission lines. Now when you bend the transmission line also we normally going to have, we can have the discontinuities in the transmission line. What is the meaning of discontinuity in the transmission line? Let us say you are going to have a transmission line like this, and you are going to have a discontinuity. Now if you observe this here, you are going to have a discontinuity here. Wherever you have discontinuity, there you are normally going to have the radiation of the electromagnetic wave. So here also we have a discontinuity, there is a radiation of the electromagnetic wave here. So like this, when it is normally going to get bent, then only we normally going to have the radiation, right? So these are the various conclusions that we can make from this particular equation. So what is the overall conclusion here that we have compulsorily that we need to have? And if the transmission line is not terminated, there is no radiation. If there is a bend in the transmission line, then only we normally going to have a radiation. Now if the transmission line is ended with a load, say for example I normally going to consider transmission line and I am going to consider a load here like this. This is apply the input voltage here V in. Okay, this is the load resistance, and in fact this is a transmission line. So this is the transmission line. Now if transmission line is terminated by a load, physical load, then only the EM wave is normally going to get radiated. That means if you don't terminate, no radiation we are going to have. So therefore what is important for us is when the transmission line is going to radiate. That is a very, very important point. One thing is that the input signal should be time varying, that is one thing. Or if input signal is not time varying, then at least you should have a bend over here, right? If that is not there, the transmission line has to be compulsorily terminated, right? So with these conditions an EM wave is normally going to get radiated. Now in the next class we will discuss about the mechanism of EM wave radiations. Now in this mechanism of EM wave radiation I will try to explain by using a popular wire antenna known as a dipole antenna. By considering a dipole antenna, that means we discussed dipole antenna, and by using dipole antenna I will explain you how an EM wave is radiated in the free space. That means how an EM wave or how a wave is going to get detached from the antenna. That means before the wave getting transmitted by the transmitting antenna, what is the nature of the wave? It is electrical in nature, and the wave is attached to the entire setup. So once after antenna transmits, the wave is going to get detached from the antenna. It is something like a child getting detached from her mother, okay, after he takes birth, right? So before that the child is going to take the food, everything from the mother. After birth, what happens? He is going to get his own bread and butter by his mouth and all those things. So that means what here? Similarly here also, how the detachment of EM wave is going to take place? We will discuss that by discussing about mechanism of EM wave radiations with the help of a dipole antenna.